Namaskar. My name is Dr. Deepti Bish, Professor, Department of Chikitsa, Faculty of Ayurveda Sciences, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In today's session for class DMS 4th year, we are going to discuss the topic hypothermia. As you know, hypothermia is defined as a body core temperature below 35 degrees centigrade or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Symptoms depend on the temperature. In mild hypothermia, there is shivering and mental confusion. In moderate hypothermia, shivering stops and confusion increases. In severe hypothermia, there may be paradoxical undressing in which a person removes their clothing as well as increased risk of heart stopping. So, the causes usually are accidental exposure to very low temperature or sometimes as a complication like cerebrovascular lesion, myocardial infarction, liver cirrhosis, pneumonia, renal failure, hypoglycemia, etc. So, usually the clinical features which are seen are skin feels dry, cold, and pale. Harmful effects of hypothermia appear only when the core temperature is below 33.3 degrees centigrade. Severity of symptom is related to the intensity of hypothermia. In moderately advanced and heme concentration, the hematocrit increases by 2% for every 10 decline of temperature. Varying degrees of metabolic acidosis. Varying degree of metabolic acidosis is present. In more severe cases, cardiac arrhythmias, pancreatitis, central nervous system depression may supervene. So, these are the common clinical findings where pulse and respiration are slowed. Hypoxia leading to capillary damage, leading to low concentration. Metabolic acidosis is observed. ECG changes can occur showing hypo and hyperkalemia, often masked by hypothermia. Severe cases can cause arrhythmias, pancreatitis, and CNS depression. So, basically, it has two main types of causes, and classically, it occurs from exposure to extreme cold. Commonly, this includes alcohol intoxication, but may also include low blood sugar, anorexia, and advanced stage. Efforts to increase body temperature involving shivering, increased voluntary activity, and putting on warmer clothing. And this may diagnose based on either person's symptoms in presence of risk factors. So, treatment of mild hypothermia involves warm drinks, warm clothing, and physical activity. In those with moderate hypothermia, heating blankets and warm intravenous fluids are recommended. People with moderate or severe hypothermia should be moved gently. In severe hypothermia, extracorporeal membrane oxygenation or cardiopulmonary bypass may be useful. In those without a pulse, Cardiopulmonary resuscitation is indicated along with the above measure. Rewarming is typically continued until a person's temperature is greater than 32 degrees centigrade. If there is no improvement at this point or the blood potassium level is greater than 12 millimole per liter at any time, resuscitation may be discontinued. So, this hypothermia is more common in older people and males, and survival can occur if proper management is done on time. So, management, as I said, if it is mild, then passive rewarming. If it is moderate, then active external rewarming is needed. And if it is severe, then active internal rewarming is needed. So, aggressiveness of treatment is matched to the degree of hypothermia. So, first of all, if there is emergency situation, then oxygenation should be done with 100% oxygen. Fluid therapy is done with dextrose 5% IV, use of isolite and plasma expanders like dextrose. If hypotension persists, then dopamine infusion in low doses is done. Restoration of pH and electrolyte balance is done with 50 to 100 ml of 7.5% sodium bicarbonate IV. Potassium level monitoring is important while treating the case. Now, there is a process called rewarming, and it can be done with a number of methods, including passive external rewarming or active external rewarming and active internal rewarming. So, passive external rewarming involves use of person's own ability to generate heat by providing properly insulated dry clothing and moving into a warm environment. Passive external rewarming is recommended for those with mild hypothermia. Active external rewarming involves applying warming devices externally, such as heating blankets. These may function by warmed forced air, chemical reactions, or electricity. In wilderness environments, hot water bottles in both armpits can be used. So, active external rewarming is recommended for moderate hypothermia. Then active core rewarming involves use of intravenous warm fluid, irrigation of body cavities with warm fluid, and use of warm humidified inhaled air, and use of extracorporeal rewarming such as via heart-lung machine, which is called extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. So this is the fastest method for those with severe hypothermia or in emergency conditions. Peritoneal dialysis is also employed with warm foods sometimes. Warm infusions are necessary. One thing which needs to notice is that there is a condition called rewarming shock, which is a sudden drop in blood pressure in combination with a low cardiac output, which may occur during active treatment of a severely hypothermic person. So, these concerns are believed due to after drop. So, rewarming should be done properly with all the checkup and all assessment of condition. Sometimes hypoglycemia is frequent complication and it needs to be tested for and treated. For this, intravenous thiamine and glucose is often recommended. Other measures besides this which are used are broad spectrum antibiotics to avoid any superficial infection, use of corticosteroids if there is very low blood pressure, then treatment and control of any disease condition with according to condition. If patient is alert and able to swallow, then drinking warm sweetened liquid can help in rise the temperature. These are some other preventive measures or some treatment in mild cases. As most people are moderately dehydrated due to cold-induced diuresis, then warm intravenous fluid should be given. And if the condition is very severe in those patients without signs of life, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, that is CPR, should be continued during active rewarming. If there is ventricular fibrillation or ventricular tachycardia, then defibrillation should be attempted. If there is severe hypothermia, which is not responding to pacing or defibrillation, then there should be there should be steps or there should be effort to maintain the core temperature up to 30 degrees centigrade. In some countries, epinephrine is not recommended, while in some countries, epinephrine is recommended in treatment. And so this was all about the treatment of hypothermia. In next lecture, we will cover some another topic. Namaskar. Have a nice